Are you thinking of publishing written content on the social platforms and wondering what the best practices are and whether long form or shorter content will work? Well, I'm excited to share with you my results. As of just a few days ago, I have been publishing written content for the last 7 weeks across Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and I'm pretty sure those are the top ones. I was doing a little bit of Threads, but I'm not doing Threads as much anymore. So my hypothesis was that the algorithms will show my content to people that are interested in the content. And I'm essentially publishing them on my personal profile. And a number of people have been commenting on these posts that I've been doing. And some of you have been asking, hey, I'd love to get an update. How is it working? Well, it's late September and I've got some results for you. First of all, I have been experimenting with various different lengths of content and various different types of content. And I'm hit on one particular kind of content that is absolutely blown up. I just published it a few days ago. I actually have it right here. Okay, that's never happened before. My camera just went black right in the middle of what I was about to say. So what I was about to say is I actually have the post that went crazy right here, and I'm going to read it to you in a little bit and kind of dissect why I believe it went crazy. So first of all, let me share with you what I've discovered. I have been experimenting with writing opinion and perspective pieces, and every one of them is varying lengths, and I start with them in a Google document, and then I paste them into the various platforms. Now, what's really interesting is I've started to notice that the longer the articles are that I'm pasting into the platforms, the less likely the platforms show them, which I thought was really intriguing. I got to a certain point with one article where it was so long that I had to, on LinkedIn, publish it as an article. When I published it as an article on LinkedIn, almost no one saw it. So what I ended up doing a few days later was I wrote a much shorter version of it and I republished it on LinkedIn in my personal profile, and also republished it on Facebook in my personal profile. Fascinatingly enough, the much shorter version of it got ridiculously more reach and engagement. So you're going to have to experiment a little bit, but if it's too long, the platforms aren't going to show it. That's the first thing that I've discovered. In addition, I've also discovered that not only does super long content not work, but content that has tips in it tends to work a little bit better. And I believe that you have to sew a story into it, of course, but if it has some sort of objective thing that people can do with it, it seems that it gets shared more, and it seems that people commented on it more, and it gets a lot more engagement. Now, because I've been doing this about 7 times, I decided to try something different with my most recent experiment, the one that I published on September 21st, which I'm going to read to you in a second. I did my normal lead in, but I didn't actually put my recommendations as to how to solve this problem in it. Instead, I ended it in a different way, which was designed to spur discussion. And I'm here to tell you that what I did here went crazy. There are hundreds of comments, and it's working equally well across LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. So I'm going to read to you what I said, and I want you to pay attention to what I said, and then I'm going to explain why some of what I said caused some crazy reactions with people that led to really, really rich commentary in which I engaged with almost every single person. So here we go. Here's what I said. I said, blogging is dying. Writing is not dead. If you publish written content on your website with the hope of attracting an audience, AI represents an existential threat to your business model. The first signal was Google issuing a code red in late 2022. The second signal is likely right inside your Google Analytics account, waiting to be discovered. The old model of write something useful and hope you get valuable search traffic is rapidly coming to an end. The truth, this has been going on for a long while. It started when Google's rich snippets began borrowing our content and revealing answers right at the top of a search query. Now, ChatGPT has more than 1.47 billion page views according to the latest data from SimilarWeb. Pretty soon, generative AI tools will replace search as the first place people think to go to gather information. And if you use your website as a content marketing hub, you should be very concerned. What are your options? Well, you could ignore what's going on and be in a real bind in the next 6 to 12 months, or you could formulate a new plan. If so, what is your plan? Have you thought things through? Are you concerned? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Okay, so a couple things you'll notice that I did there. First of all, I said blogging is dying, writing is not dead. So you could argue that was pretty provocative. My next sentence, of course, was I said if you publish written content on your website, there's a problem, right? So I didn't expect this to happen, but fascinatingly enough, I learned that people don't read. People read blogging is dead. And I activated the blogging community, it seems, amongst my followers, and they went nuts saying, what are you talking about? Blogging's not dead. And then other people said, what are you talking about? Writing's not dead. I read a newsletter, da-da-da. And I'm like, that's not what I said. But here's the fascinating part. Even though it's not what I said, this commentary actually fueled, I believe, the reach of these particular posts. I did not write this intentionally to create controversy. I had a conversation with my mastermind just the day before, explaining to them how I see business blogging as an existential threat. I mean, AI to business blogging as an existential threat. And I laid out kind of what we're planning to do at Social Media Examiner. So by writing this post and giving the facts, right, like Google Code Red and the analytics data is probably showing you've got a decline in search traffic, and making a couple of opinions, right, which is, I think ChatGPT is an existential, whatever that word is, threat. People that read the whole thing, we had really thoughtful commentary. And in this post, there's amazing ideas. And some people posted, wow, this is one of the richest discussions I've seen on Facebook in a long time, because people were acknowledging that, yeah, I think there's a problem. Here's how I'm going about it. Here's how I'm going about it. So what I learned from this particular experience, I'm going to go ahead and drop this piece of paper now. What I learned from this particular experience is that sometimes if you want your writing to get the most amount of reach and engagement and exposure, do not give the solution. Instead, explain to people that you see a problem and you're curious how they're viewing this particular problem and how they want to solve this problem. I knew AI was a hot button issue. It obviously is a hot button issue, especially for anyone in the writing space. And I think that I got a lot of people to think. And this was a really fascinating experiment for me. Now, I don't know, time will only tell if I write a follow-up post specifically on this, explaining how I and Social Media Examiner plan to tackle these kinds of challenges. But one thing is clear. When there is a really hot button issue inside of the industry in which you operate in, maybe instead of saying, here's how to solve it, maybe just write a post that opens up a generic dialogue and see what happens. I'd love to hear your thoughts. That's where I'm at right now with 7 weeks in a row of quote unquote blogging, if you will, on the social platforms. How do you respond to what I read to you? Do you agree with it? Please comment. I would love to engage with you. Thanks so much for watching. My name is Michael Stelzner.